Welcome to the Lex Buds and Pick and Roll podcast. I'm one of your two co-hosts, Brandon.
And with you as always is Tyler.
Tyler, another fun week for me at least, and a lot of news to cover in this show. As usual, this is the source where people come to get their news, and I'm ready to provide it.
Yeah, you know it's a big news week when a police officer overturning a car to save someone didn't even make the cut.
Not good enough.
We make our list of potential topics, and then a little behind the scenes here for people.
Yeah.
We make our list. We try to narrow that down to 10 topics over the course of the show. And a man turning over a car was not big enough to make the cut this week. So you know this is going to be a jam-packed show.
Yeah, I'm really excited about Tyler. This is episode number 56. Do you have anything to say about that?
Well, I am calling this one the Shirley Temple edition.
Why?
Because Shirley Temple's mother always put in 56 curls before every performance that she did.
Wow.
Did you know that, Brad?
I didn't even know you could fit 56 curls into someone's hair.
That seems like an awful lot.
And Shirley Temple's a younger actor, correct?
Yeah, she was probably the original child celebrity.
It's kind of like the original Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah. Is Macaulay Culkin your favorite child actor?
I don't know. We'll have to talk about that at some point. But I'm a big Macaulay Culkin fan.
Yeah, I was more of a Haley Joel Osment guy.
No, that's all right, Tyler. We've got a lot to talk about this week. We are going to talk about a new UK player, the NBA playoffs, Governor Bashir, tattoos, some interesting snacks that a toddler got a hold of that I can't wait to talk about, removing police from schools, a new way to talk at a university. And, of course, we're going to talk about the Calipari Players Bracket. But one really important thing I'm excited to talk about, Tyler, we're talking about UFOs here later, too.
Oh, we're hitting all the conspiracy theorists today.
I know. It's great. I love a good conspiracy theory.
I'm expecting some big increases in downloads for the podcast this week just because of our UFO discussion.
You think so? Either that or we'll get banned.
True.
One of I'm not 100% sure. But there's a lot of stuff to talk about, in short, I guess, is what we're getting at. And again, you mentioned it's so jam-packed we couldn't even fit in a guy turning over a car to save someone's life. Right? That seems like a big deal, but there's other things.
Yeah. We've got to talk about tattoos, like you said, and terrible mothers.
Yeah, this is critical information, but before we get started, Tyler, why don't you tell me a little bit about the week in the Bentley household?
Well, big week for our 5-year-old. Let me tell you about my 5-year-old's week here.
Tell me about it.
So this was her last day of preschool,
mm-hmm.
and we also had her preschool graduation.
Fun.
So, she got to wear the little graduation cap, and they played the little graduation song.
Yep.
I had something caught in my eye during that, coincidentally.
It's allergies.
Yeah.
The pollen's really bad right now.
It's terrible. And then we also had her last soccer game, and they actually won their first game of the season.
Oh, nice.
Total bad news Bears. They start to turn it on at the end. And then today we took her to swim class. She graduated to the next level of swim class because she swam across the pool for the first time.
Ooh, that's a big
all the way
big
across
day.
The pool. So, yeah, monumental week for our 5-year-old.
That sounds amazing, Tyler. I mean, talk about a jam-packed week in the news. You had a jam-packed week in your house.
Yeah, she had a pretty good week. And on top of that, she had her dance recital last night, too.
Unbelievable.
So we were pretty busy.
Yeah, I mean, that's terrific. It sounds like you had a busy week. I'm excited for you.
Yeah. I got to ask you, what is going on outside your house? Because I pulled in, I thought I was at the wrong house because there's just a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah,
what is happening?
You remember the Flintstones where they were always drilling rock and digging rock, and there were just piles of rock everywhere? That's what I've got outside my house right now. So we're working on putting in an in-ground pool in our backyard, right? Which I'm really excited about. It's supposed to start here in the next month. But let me tell you what happened. When we were looking at putting in this pool, we got a picture of our backyard and found out that our geothermal heating system is in the middle of the backyard. Now, for those that aren't familiar with geothermal, it's a very efficient way to keep the temperature set in your house, right?
Okay.
Very, very efficient. Our electric bills are hardly nothing, which is great. The bad news is it's buried underground and it's right where our pool is.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so it has got to be relocated to our front yard, and because of that, we have a big pile of rock sitting in our front yard to relocate so that we can, at some point, put a pool in the backyard.
Man.
That was a fun discovery. We were like, yeah, okay, we got a pool. This is great. And then we're like, oh, wait a minute. We're going to destroy
Not so fast, my friend.
Not so fast, my friend. So that's kind of why we look like we live in Flintstone land right now, because they had to basically relocate that system.
Well, that's a bummer. So is that going to put a big delay in your pool being done, I'm assuming?
It won't put a delay in the pool, but it will put a big dent in my wallet. Because I can tell you right now, when they start bringing drills out, and they have to drill holes 200 feet deep, Tyler.
Holy cow, 200 feet.
Yeah, you could almost get to China.
You could. We could go find their UFOs over there.
I know. It's kind of crazy. So that's why we've got those. We had 3 big 200-foot holes drilled right in our front yard, so that's where that came from.
Wow. I'm sure your neighbors love you, too.
Oh, it was great. We had dust all over our house, and I even went over to my neighbor's house and sprayed off the front of their house. I was like, did you get dust everywhere? And they're like, a little bit. I was like, all right, man, I'm spraying mine off. I'm going to come spray yours off right after this.
What a heck of a guy.
So I went and sprayed their porch and their windows and everything off, and a little bit of a mess, but I'm sure it'll be nothing compared to the actual construction of the pool. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know.
I can't wait.
One other thing, elementary school and school in Fayette County, the last day of school was this last week.
Yeah, it was.
And it was great because the night before the last day of school, I asked my 7 and 10-year-old, I said, you want to watch a movie? They said, yeah. So we went online. We found Paranormal Activity. They're like, we want to watch that one.
The scary movie?
The scary movie, yes.
Activity?
And we put it on.
Oh, my goodness.
And it went off at about 9:30. And the kids were afraid to turn the movie off, which they should be. And then I was like, all right, guys, time for bed.
And they said, nope.
They're like, wait, can we sleep with you and Mom, or can we do something here? So Father of the Year award for me. I'm the early front runner for 2021. But they thoroughly enjoyed it.
That's great.
Yeah, I was really excited. They loved the movie.
So, do your kids, are they into the whole scary movie
Oh, they
scene?
love it. They love it. We watched Night of the Living Dead, the original, about a week ago before that.
And they enjoyed that?
So they're getting really into it. I'm trying to find the ones that don't have, like, nudity in it.
Yeah, that's hard to do.
I know, because it's basically a horror movie trope, right? I mean, that's what you do. You get naked, you die. That's what happened. And it's a good life lesson. But I can't show that to a 7 and 10-year-old. It just doesn't work.
Yeah, that's true. Man, well, that's good. You are raising them right, sir, to be scary movie fans.
I hope so. We'll see how they turn out later. We'll see in 10 years if this was a worthwhile project or not.
Yeah, when they send you the bill for their therapist, it may not.
Yeah, absolutely. And we had an interesting show before we get into this one, Tyler. Last week we had a very interesting show when we ended with the Calipari bracket, and we had a lot of great feedback on people helping us break ties with the Calipari bracket, and we'll get to that. We will get to that at the end of the show.
We did. We will tell you who won the tiebreakers, so stay tuned till the very end.
Absolutely. And Ty, without further ado, I think we just get into it.
All right,
Are you
ready? Let's go. Segment 1, sports. What we got?
Here we go, Tyler. Tyler, I have a severe piece of good news dropped from this last week. As Georgia transfer Severe Wheeler announced he is transferring to Kentucky, the SEC assist leader from last year put out a lengthy video during his announcement showcasing his thought process and even claims to be a UK history whiz. Tyler, your thoughts on Wheeler, and does this change your perception of the team for next year?
I think he's going to cause severe headaches for opposing defenses next year. No, this is awesome, man. It really is. This is the perfect scenario. I mean, because we got the star freshman point guard recruit last week, and now we bring in the veteran, seasoned point guard, second team All SEC last year, and let's one of these guys is going to fight and win the starting position. I don't care who it is. We might even play both these guys at the same time.
Could be a Wall Bledsoe scenario.
Exactly. Yeah, Cal's shown that he can play with multiple point guards at the same time. I got to feel bad for Tom Crean, though. Tom Crean has lost his entire team. Does he have anyone left at Georgia?
I don't know, but it's not looking very good for old Tom. And it couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
Absolutely, I agree. But this Wheeler kid, what I like about him, he averaged over 7 assists a game last year. And just to give you an idea, let's just assume that Kentucky plays 40 games and wins the national championship next game. Mm-hmm. If he averages 7.5 assists, roughly what he averaged last year, over 40 games, he would have 296 assists. Right now, the all-time season assist record, Tyler Eulis, 246. So he would beat that number by 50.
I see. And the weird thing is he didn't have anybody to throw the ball to last year.
That's a great
You know what
point.
I mean? He had nobody to put the ball in the hoop. Imagine how many more assists he could have had.
Yeah, and the concern, if we're looking at, okay, what are the negatives? not a good three-point shooter. He shot 22% from the three-point line last year. Does that worry you, Brandon?
No, it doesn't, because let's say last year's team had Ashton Hagans, who was not a very good three-point shooter. I think we are a significantly better team. If we just have somebody that can penetrate, draw a crowd, and kick it out. You don't have to shoot the ball if you're a point guard. You can be a distributor and be successful. So I don't think it's a big deal as long as he knows how to get the ball to his other teammates. And we have some shooters coming in next year, which I'm really excited about. The only thing that concerns me, I feel good about the individual players as they stand right now. I feel really good about where we're at. I just don't know how it all comes together. And that's the ultimate thing. How do they play together? What's the chemistry like? Mm-hmm. We had some good individual pieces this past year, somewhat. But not only did they not live up to the hype, they also didn't play very well together. If you can't play well together, it's going to be a little bit of a mess. So I'm interested to see what happens. I'm cautiously optimistic, but I'm still going to take my wait-and-see approach.
I agree. But I love this kid. I love his attitude, just the way he's carried himself in the interviews that he's done. He seems like a guy who just wants to win. Like he's been in college basketball for a while. He has suffered through some terrible seasons at Georgia. I think this guy is just here to win, and whatever that means, whether that means 10 assists and 2 points or 20 points, what he's going to do, whatever he needs to do to help us win.
I'm excited all the way around.
I'm very excited about this guy.
Tyler, what we got next?
All right, Brandon, when Ham Porter hurled the insult, "You play ball like a girl," in the Sandlot, he obviously had never seen the UK softball team play. In the opening round this weekend of the 2021 NCAA softball tournament, UK started with a win over Northwestern, but then lost in the second round to Notre Dame, which meant that today they had to pull what very rarely happens, which is it's a double elimination bracket. So that meant UK, they came out of the losers bracket, and that set down a showdown with Notre Dame. They had to beat them twice today if they wanted to move on. Twice in the same day, back to back. And they did it.
Yeah.
Beat Notre Dame, which they lost the first. It was like 12-3.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, holy, there's no way we're going to be able to beat this team twice. And lo and behold, they did it. I think I saw only like 10% of teams come out of the losers bracket in this regional round. So UK defied the odds. They move on to the, what do they call it, the super regional,
yes.
I believe now. So I've not seen who we will play or when we will play, but Brandon, are you excited? Are we jumping behind softball just like we did volleyball?
I think we have to, because we're jumping behind basically any sport. Every sport at Kentucky is succeeding overwhelmingly except for basketball. Mitch Barnhart's going to be like, you got to be kidding me. I worked on all these other programs, and the one that's supposed to be able to take care of itself can't do it. So, yeah, I'm jumping behind it. I mean, we saw how excited people got about the volleyball team, and I think people will get excited about softball as it progresses. I think the groundswell for support and the excitement didn't really get there with volleyball until we got closer to the Final Four.
Yeah.
But I think it'll happen with softball if we get to that level. But I'm excited. It just goes to show that whether you like Mitch Barnhart or not, all right, there's a lot of reasons to dislike what he does, but the bottom line is he's built a heck of a football program. We've won a national championship in basketball, and all the other 27 sports that we have seem to be doing really well. So love him or hate him, he does a great job.
Yeah, he's really brought stability to these other sports, too. I mean, you look at softball, Rachel Lawson has been there a long time. Mm-hmm. She has brought so much stability to that program. Same with volleyball and Skinner and all these other sports. We've got coaches that have invested a lot into these programs, and I think we are really starting to see the fruits of those labors really start to pay off.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm excited to see where it goes, and I'm sure as things get closer to the Final Four, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll keep you posted.
Absolutely. Tyler, can you guess how many former Cats are playing in the NBA playoffs this year? And I'll give you a hint. Think Rick Pitino.
Rick Pitino. Let's see. He gave us the bird that one time. So is there one?
No, there's 15, and I won't give away the details on the hint, but you can research that at your liking. So those former Cats include Anthony Davis, Devin Booker, Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, Julius Randle, and more, and they're going to play a pretty major role in the playoffs this year. These aren't end-of-the-bench players. Tyler, my question is, do you care about this?
That's actually what I was literally going to ask you the same question. How much do you care, like on a scale of 1 to 10? Because obviously, I mean, if we just kind of go down the line, do I care about the NBA playoffs as much as a Kentucky NCAA tournament game? Heck no. Do I care as much about the former Cats in the playoffs as I do a Kentucky regular season game? Still probably no.
Okay. Fair.
Do I care more about a preseason game? Maybe.
Marginally?
Yeah, I might be
marginally
more invested than a UK preseason game.
So against an athletes in action game is what you're saying.
I miss playing athletes in action, by the way.
Yeah.
We need to bring them back.
But, I mean, do you care overall? I mean, do you get excited about this? Are you going to tune into NBA playoff games because there's former Cats in it? Are you going to pay more attention than you would otherwise?
I think so. I mean, if for the series that we don't have any Cats in, I'm probably not even going to turn it on, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I will at least have the games on. It's kind of one of those things. You've got the game on, but you're doing other things.
Yeah,
you're reading your magazine and while it's on, or playing with the kids, or whatever.
I agree with you. Now for me, I don't really care. I've never cared about the NBA thing as much because I'm a fan of the UK program. I'm cheering for the program itself, right? So, for example, Rich Brooks, when he was the coach here, I cheered for Rich Brooks because he was the coach at Kentucky.
Yeah.
Right? And if he goes out and picks tomatoes or whatever he does now, in his garden, I'm not going to be like, oh, come on, Rich, you can do it. Yeah, good retirement, buddy. You're doing great. Once they're out of the UK program, I'm not as interested. I cheer for a program, not for the individual person necessarily. I cheer for them because they're helping our program win. But that's just me personally.
Yeah. Do you feel bad about that? Like, do you feel like we should support them more? I mean, because I've been thinking about this all weekend, just trying to why do I not get behind these guys more?
I thought that you would, Tyler. When we started having this conversation, I thought you would be on the opposite side of this.
No, because I don't. And then I thought about it and okay, I used to be a teacher, and I only had my students for 1 year. Whereas, most of these guys, we have them at UK for 1 year.
Yeah.
Most of them.
Yeah.
And, when my students leave, I'm not like, sure, I don't care what they ever do after they get done with me in 7th grade. I don't care what they do. No, those were your students. You wanted to see them succeed in all that they did after they left your classroom. And so I'm kind of just been doing some self-reflecting, why am I not as supportive of these guys? Why do I not care as much about these guys who are in our program for a year with their NBA careers?
Yeah.
And I'm not. And maybe that makes us not as good of fans as some people. I don't know.
Well, no, this show is predicated on our opinions, Tyler. I mean, if you don't care, you don't care. We're not going to sugarcoat it and say, yeah, we're standing behind them 100%. Of course we want them to do well. I mean, they're former Cats. They're going to come back to the program. They're great for marketing, but I think when people use the NBA as the bar for how good the Kentucky program is, I really don't care. I don't like that bar. The bar for me is, are we winning games while they're at Kentucky? I don't care that Anthony Davis is an MVP caliber candidate. I don't care that Devin Booker is leading the Suns to the playoffs in a high seed. Mm-hmm. I need to know what's happening at Kentucky. You know what I mean? That's what I'm cheering for. I'm wearing a Kentucky shirt, not a Devin Booker shirt. You know what I mean? I cheer for Kentucky, and while they're here at Kentucky, I will cheer for them because they're building up our program. That may be a selfish thing.
Yeah.
Maybe we're bad fans, but that's truly how I feel.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat with you.
I'm surprised, Tyler. I thought you would be totally opposite on that. That is a shocker.
Well, we just got to be honest, like you said on this show.
True.
And we're not going to, just sit here and tell people crap. And, we're going to tell you how you feel because, I mean, we are the voice of the average fan that we try to be.
Yeah, I mean, think about, if you were a Chicago Bulls fan when Michael Jordan was there. He was great. He won you a bunch of championships, and you're the biggest Bulls fan ever. You're not going to go cheer for Michael Jordan when he's swinging golf clubs on the golf course in his retirement. I hope he has a really good golf game. No.
Or when he played for the Wizards.
No, you care about what's happening with the Chicago Bulls at that particular time. You're not following Michael Jordan after he leaves the Bulls.
Yeah.
And
and I think we are kind of in the middle because there's some fans who don't care at all about what these guys do in the NBA. And are actually, I read an article by Jerry Tipton this morning that included. Basically, he was talking about how a lot of fans are being turned off by the constant one and done, and how we promote. Before tip off at a UK game, they're showing up on the jumbotron. They're showing all the NBA guys, and a lot of people said they were turned off by that. That doesn't really bother me because that's all for recruiting. I mean, if it helps us to bring in better recruits by putting pictures of guys in their NBA jerseys, have at it. that I'm all for that.
Yeah, okay. I follow you. I'm with you. But I don't know. Interesting debate. I expected something different on that, but that's why we do this show, Tyler, because we don't know. That's why they play the game, right?
Thank you, Herm Edwards.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, Tyler, if people wanted to follow us on social media, you've been putting up some great stuff on Twitter, by the way.
Thank you, sir.
Some really good material. You can follow us on Twitter at LexBuds, on Facebook, LexBuds and Pick and Roll. On YouTube, you can catch the entire video of the show, and you can actually see my sunburn on the video if you want to. If you're listening to this on the podcast now, go to YouTube. I went out biking today in 80-some degree weather for an hour,
goodness.
and I'm touching myself right now, and it's red. So if you want to flip over real quick, I'm a little red.
That's impressive.
Thank you. I biked 6 miles today in the hills.
Oh my goodness!
Like a mountain man.
You are.
I know.
I don't even know who you are.
I know.
And I saw you signed up for Midsummer Night's Run too. Look at you being Mr. Active and
I'm just
going to
do it. I'm just going to do it. I don't even know if I'll finish it. The race actually happens about 3 days after I get back from a 10-day vacation, so I will be completely worthless, but I hope to be able to finish the race. That's my goal.
You will. I have faith in you.
Okay, that's good.
But yeah, please go follow us on Twitter. You can read my review of Army of the Dead, which I watched last night on Twitter. Follow us on Facebook, Lex Buds and Pick and Roll, and on the Instagram. We are on all of those. And please leave us a review while you're there.
A 5-star review at that.
Preferably a 5-star. If you think we suck, maybe don't leave us a review and leave a review on someone else. But
absolutely,
if you like what you hear, just let us know.
Absolutely, let us know. It helps us out. It helps us show up in podcast feeds and everything else. So make sure you do that. Tyler, with that being said, we've actually wrapped up our sports segment. Believe it or not, it was kind of a quick one, but we're going to move on to news.
Okay,
are you ready?
We've got some good stuff.
I am so excited about this news segment, Tyler. I'm so pumped. What do we got first?
All right, Brandon, Kentucky is set to end all COVID-19 restrictions in 3 weeks. We have talked about that quite a bit on this show.
Yes, absolutely.
But that is apparently not soon enough for many Republicans in Kentucky. House Speaker David Osborne and Senate President Robert Stivers have signed a joint statement saying that Kentucky needs to be fully reopened now, immediately. Osborne and Stivers said Beshear is following selective science and will make us one of the last states to reopen. Brandon, when do you think Kentucky should end its COVID restrictions?
Well, here's the deal. My biggest problem has been that these decisions have been arbitrary. I think would be a nice way for me to say it. The decisions are arbitrary. The science, I don't know that they're following it 100%. But beyond that, I mean, we're only 3 weeks away. If I'm looking at this just logistically, it's like I think it's gone on way longer than it needed to go. But we're only 3 weeks away. What does it matter?
It's a great. It's 3 more weeks. We've been at this for a year and a half almost.
I think it's a little bit of, to be honest with you, I think it's a little bit of grandstanding on the Republicans' part. I think it's virtue signaling to their base, like, we fought for you to get it open 2 weeks earlier. Come on, man.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. I think it's just all for show.
I think that is 100% correct on that. Could not agree with you more. Like, dudes, we're 3 weeks away. I mean, we on this show, we were happy. We were excited. Like, we can see the end. The end is coming. We're almost there. Like, let's stop the partisan bickering and move on with this. But that being said, I've supported Beshear through most of this, and he has been a little more flexible recently. I think he had his 2.5 million goal. He kind of nixed that after he saw it wasn't going to work. Moved it to June 11th. So, I mean, I feel like he has sort of compromised. He had set his goal, and people said, or maybe he saw that it wasn't going to work, and so he was willing to move it up. So,
yeah, in my opinion, I mean, just like I think the Republicans are grandstanding, I do think that Beshear basically was waiting for some kind of cover to, if I'm looking at political tactics here, now that the CDC has said that it's okay, he now has the political courage to do it, because now he can say, the CDC said it's good now, so I don't have to worry about it. It's basically just a way for him to make decisions from the CDC instead of trying to hurry up and open things up like other states. It's just a political, just like the Republicans are doing a political move, I think Beshear's doing a political move by waiting for cover from the CDC.
Why does everything have to be a political move?
That's the way, I mean, to me, it's very clear that's what's happening. But, I mean, that just goes to show that both parties are doing it. And what are you going to do?
Why can't people just
make a decision.
Do what's best for the people.
That's not what we do here, Tyler.
Yeah,
You know,
that would make
this
too
is
much
America. We don't do that here. Tyler, you always hear that the cover-up is the worst part of a crime. In this case, the cover-up is the solution. I know. You like that? A couple of tattoo artists in Kentucky are offering to help cover racist or hateful tattoos for free to those that want it. The artists say that they are hearing from people all over the world and mostly spend time covering up Confederate flags, swastika symbols, and Tyler, what do you think about this idea? Free cover-ups on tattoos.
I think it's a great idea, honestly. I mean, obviously, I have no tattoos, nor will I probably ever get a tattoo. But if I had one, and heaven forbid I had something that was embarrassing or hate-filled or something like that, I would imagine that it would be pretty shameful. You wouldn't want your kids to see it. You wouldn't want you never want to be seen with it in public. I feel like people just kind of have to live with that shame for the rest of their lives. So I think this is an opportunity for people to come in, kind of no questions asked, kind of a judgment-free zone, kind of just a restart, get it covered up. And apparently this has become hugely popular because the business owner said that the wait list is 10 to 20 years. Because they're doing this like once a week, like every Thursday. And they've had so many people that they've got a 10-year wait list, which is insane. So clearly they're doing something right. I like it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting when you look at the story a little bit further. It actually quotes one of the dads that had their tattoo covered up. He was embarrassed to take off his shirt, like to go swimming or something in front of his kids because he had this giant tattoo on it, and it was kind of offensive. Another person said that they had gotten the tattoo because they were going to prison or they were in prison, so they had to kind of like be tough, so it was like a survival tactic.
Yeah.
So now that those days are over with and you can move on, I think it's a good idea. Why not? I'm glad that they are only doing it once a week because my first thought was, how are they going to do free tattoos? They're going to go out of business.
Seems like a poor business model.
Poor business decision.
to only do things for free.
But overall, something innovative in Kentucky, and they're hearing from people all over the world. So not a bad thing, in my opinion.
Yeah, completely agree. It's with all the negative news and publicity and let's just say it, stereotypes that come out of people in Kentucky. I think this is a example of how that's not always the case, and in most cases, it's not the case. People in Kentucky are good people, are friendly people, and want to help people, and this, I think, is a great example of that.
Absolutely. Tyler, what do we got next, sir?
Oh, boy. Here we go.
Oh.
Brandon, last week was Mother's Day, and we talked about how moms do everything for their kids. I mean, where would I know you and I both have two kids. We could not be parents without the moms.
It would be a disaster.
I mean, they organize everything. They make sure that the kids have enough to eat, that they have clothes.
They rock it.
Yeah, they do everything. They sacrifice and give their kids everything. But a woman in Boone County gave a little something extra for her toddler, which was THC. That's right. Jessica Albrand, 22 years old, was arrested this week after a police investigation into a video chat that Miss Albrand had with her incarcerated boyfriend. And, of course, the boyfriend is incarcerated.
Why not? Why wouldn't he be?
Could have seen that one coming. In the video, Albrand told the boyfriend she could not find her, quote, snacks, and implied her 18-month-old had eaten them. In the words of the ShamWell guy, but wait, there's more. While in the video chat, the mom performed sexual acts on herself while the child was nearby. Brandon, worst mom ever?
Oh, jeez. Tyler, it's hard to come up with what to say about. There are a lot of things wrong with this. Let me ask this: which one do you think's worse? Which one do you think's worse?
I think the THC is the worst.
Yeah, because that could potentially kill the child.
Yeah, and do a lot of physical damage.
Oh, jeez. I mean, everything in that story adds up, though. I mean, once you told me that it was a woman that had THC brownies and her boyfriend was in prison, I just expected the other two things, for her kids to get a hold of it and her to do something inappropriate on video to happen. It just seems like it fits together really well.
Yeah. Here's actually something I learned from this story.
Yeah.
I didn't know you could do video calls from prison. Did you know that?
Maybe in lieu of conjugal visits because of COVID restrictions, maybe the next thing is to do conjugal video. maybe there's COVID restrictions.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm just trying to think. I mean, they got to keep the inmates happy, right? Or else they'll overtake the prison.
Yeah, they'll be giving people swastika tattoos.
Exactly.
But yeah, I was completely unaware of that. That was kind of news to me. Clearly, the prisons have great Wi-Fi to be able to support these video calls, and I don't know.
That's impressive because the Wi-Fi in my house is terrible, and I don't have it filled with cinder blocks and steel bars.
Yeah.
So you think, like, who's providing their Wi-Fi? Why can't we get that?
Right, yeah. So maybe instead of going, people go to Starbucks or Panera to go sit on the Wi-Fi, maybe just go to your local prison and sit outside and get your hotspot there.
Yeah, just make sure you be careful what you see on the video because...
yeah, you may get a real hotspot in there.
Oh,
Lord, I apologize. I'm sorry.
Tyler, can we move on to the next thing?
Yes, please do.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Go on.
Okay. We need counseling, not police officers, is the battle cry for a group of Fayette County school students who argue that they wish to reduce the number of officers in schools. They are asking that schools invest in counseling and mental health services instead. Tyler, your thoughts on getting rid of the cops and investing in mental health and counseling services in schools?
Well, I mean, this is basically the same conversation we're having on a national level, just at the school level, right?
Yeah.
I mean, all the discussion of reducing gun violence, the solution everybody says is mental health. We got to have more support for mental health issues. Same thing in the schools. I mean, I think long term, I think everybody is. Correct me if I'm wrong. You may disagree, but I think most everybody agrees the solution is more support, is more counseling, is more ways to help people who have mental health issues. And we absolutely need more school counselors. I mean, how many counselors did we have in high school? 2?
Did we? I think we had one.
Did we have
one or two? I don't know.
I mean, yeah, every school that I taught at, I mean, 1 or 2 counselors at the max.
Okay.
And you're talking, hundreds, if not thousands of kids, and you have 1 or 2 guidance counselors. I mean, they are overwhelmed. There's no way they can provide the support that these kids need.
Well, let me ask you this, though. Let me ask you this. Okay. This is the ultimate question, though, about why you need police officers in schools, and I'll ask. So you have these nutcases that go into school and they shoot it up, right? These kids are off their rockers to begin with, correct?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you think that they are going to go by the counselor's office and say, you know what, instead of shooting up my friends, I'm going to stop by my guidance counselor's office? That should change things. Because that's the question. Is it going to stop what we're trying to stop here? That's the reason the police are in the school is because they can be dangerous. Is it going to stop somebody? Is it going to stop the guy that went into the kindergarten class, which is by far the worst thing I've seen in my entire life? Mm-hmm. He killed his parents or killed somebody, took their guns, and walked into the school and shot everybody. Is the guidance counselor going to keep them from doing that?
Well, is the kid going to stop by the guidance counselor's office? Probably not. But if we have more guidance counselors and have more resources, maybe they can be proactive and start to recognize kids that the teachers are seeing issues in and can get them some help before it gets to that point.
Does it have to be an either or? Why can't you do both?
I mean, in a perfect world, yeah, that would be great. But who's paying for that?
Well, are there other things that you can cut out? And I guess that's the ultimate question then too, is if you're wanting to invest more money into these counseling and mental health services, is the idea to take it away from the physical force to help prevent the issue? Is it best to take it away from that, or are there other areas where you can take it away from?
Yeah, and that's a tough conversation to have with schools that are already strapped for money. And like I said, we want more money for counselors, but in the meantime, until you get that, you've got to have enough security and people for when those things do happen. So it's like you said, there's just not enough money now to support both. And right now we need both.
Yeah, it's an interesting debate. We'll see how it plays out.
But I give kudos to the kids though for organizing this. It's summer break. When I was on summer break, I wasn't doing anything of benefit to anything
to society.
in society. but these kids, good for them for standing up and trying to make their schools better.
Yeah, always stand up for what you believe in.
Applaud them.
Just like Aaron Tippin said, you got to stand for something or you'll fall for anything.
That's right.
Stand up for what you think.
Aaron Tippin, wise man.
Absolutely.
Brandon, if Anakin Skywalker wants to take his mask off, he better bring his vaccine card.
Ooh, I'm nervous.
At least if he wants to go to Meta, a downtown Louisville cocktail bar, whose owner decided this week to require proof of being fully vaccinated if someone does not want to wear a mask. Now, one would have to assume other businesses are going to do this too. So, Brandon, my question is, one, are you okay with this policy? And then two, does it make you more or less likely to visit establishments that require this?
Well, here's what I'll tell you right off the bat. So first, do I care? They can do whatever they want. They're a business. They can operate however the heck they want. I don't care. So I've heard people say, oh, it's a HIPAA violation. No, it's not.
It's not a HIPAA violation.
It's not a HIPAA violation. Stop it with that. That's not correct at all. That has to do with healthcare workers and government officials, stuff like that. Totally different thing.
Yeah, you and I have both worked in the healthcare settings. And
it's not a HIPAA violation. They can ask you, okay, first of all. So I don't care that they make it. Here's what I'll say, though, and I can tell you just in the limited time that we've had the mask removal put in by Governor Beshear, I am not less likely. I won't go to a place that still requires a mask. Not because I'm like, I'm going to get them. I'm not going to go wear a mask. Those masks are keeping me down. No, it's a convenience thing. It's a pain in the ass to sit here and wonder which places require masks and which ones don't. And I just don't want the hassle anymore. I'm ready to move about my life. And if there's a place that's causing me a hassle, just because I don't want to deal with the inconvenience, I won't go there. It's not because I'm trying to make a point. I just don't want to deal with it.
Wait, so you're telling me, let me just pick, some of your favorite businesses. So let's just say Taco Bell. I know you love Taco Bell. So you're telling me if Taco Bell required masks, you would just stop going to Taco Bell?
Yeah, I would. I've already done this. I've already done it. Not because, again, I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, the masks are keeping me down. I'm going to go do this and that. No, it's not about that. It's just a convenience thing. I was told that I can go live my life. I've been vaccinated. The governor says there's no mask. And if there's a roadblock in the way, I'm just not going to fool with it. I'll do it that day just because, but I'll remember next time, hey, probably not going to go back there for another 30 days until I figure out when they're doing this because I'm not carrying masks in my pocket for the rest of my life. I just ain't doing it. I'm not running back out to the car to get one again. I'm done with it. So if it's a hassle, I'm not doing it.
See, I got no problem with it. They can have separate vaccinated and non-vaccinated sections in these restaurants and bars for all I care. I mean, just like back, when you used to go up and say smoking or non-smoking, say vaccinated or non-vaccinated. I don't care. It's not going to impact my decision one bit. I don't care if I have to go back out to the car to get a mask. Fine. I don't. I've been carrying one in my pocket, the last few weeks. Just if I need it, put it on. If I don't, just leave it in there. I mean. Let me ask you this, Brent. One last question, because I know we're on opposite sides of this. Sure. We had just take away, the mask issue because you could conceivably walk into this bar or restaurant without a mask. You just have to show proof that you've been vaccinated. So is your issue more with the showing proof, or is it?
No, I don't care about that. It's something else I have to carry. I want to carry my phone, wallet, keys.
Okay.
I don't want to jam up my pockets anymore. I'm done carrying masks. I'm done carrying stuff around. And if it's going to be a pain in the butt, I'm not going to do it. Now, where I think there is a difference, if there's a concert where one of your favorite bands is coming through and the concert says, hey, you have to show this at the door to get in, then I can make that decision up front if I want to buy the ticket or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's a different scenario. But if it's a food place, I'll be like, well, that's a pain in the neck. I ain't going to fool with that. I'm not carrying a car full of masks anymore. I'm not carrying them around in my pocket.
Yeah. Now, we do you have to show ID to buy alcohol. I mean, what's the difference? I mean, there's more information on your driver's license. You've got your name, address.
I don't care about it's not that I care about sharing the information. I don't care if they know I'm vaccinated or not. I just don't want to carry something else around.
Yeah, I think one of the big issues with these vaccination cards, they are too dang big.
I agree. That was a huge mistake.
We need a wallet-sized vaccination card.
Yeah.
That could potentially change the ballgame. If we got something we can fit in our wallet, that's a whole nother story.
If it's a hassle, I'm not going to do it.
But I got to bring this 8x10 index card, which is going to fall apart after a few weeks. I have to carry it around and show it places. Governor Beshear needs to get on the ball. We need wallet-sized vaccination cards, and that will solve this problem.
Yeah. The other thing is that I don't like about it, and again, you can do whatever you want. I don't care. I'm open for businesses making whatever decisions they want, is it just feels like another sign that they're not ready to move forward. And I'm ready to get back to life as normal. And I'm reminded of a step when I get to the door that things were still a pain in the butt. Yeah. And it's like a reminder of the bad times as soon as you go in.
Fair.
I would like to just get back to normal.
But don't we all? We all just want to move on.
Well, I'll tell you who's not ready to get back to normal, Tyler, is Penn State. Are you ready for this?
Okay. What we got?
So, Tyler, let me ask this. Are you binary? I meant binary, of course, right? You even know what that is?
Binary, isn't that like a number, like 1 and 0?
This is going to be an interesting conversation. All right. So, Penn State is set to remove binary and gendered terms from their courses and course description. The list of removed words will include freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior, and instead the school will use first year, second year, third year, etc. Terms like upperclassmen and underclassmen will be changed to lower division and upper division. The college will also work on replacing pronouns like he, him, his, she, her, and hers with they, them, and their. Faculty at the school claim the changes are needed as the previous terminology is centered in a male-driven educational system. These changes will only apply to courses and program descriptions. Tyler, did you get all that, or do you want me to repeat it again?
No, please don't repeat it again.
Tyler, what do you think about this?
Let me first say, I knew this was coming. If you remember several months ago, we had a topic on this show about the Dead Week controversy on UK's camp. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
There was a big controversy at UK about the use of the name Dead Week because it, upset people who have lost.
It's a mental health thing.
Yeah, mental health thing. So when I saw this headline, I was not surprised one bit. But what I don't understand, what is offensive about the word sophomore? I mean, I can even see someone's point with the term freshman, because it says man and not, fresh woman. But what on earth is offensive about sophomore, junior, and senior? And then I read the article, and then I actually see an explanation for junior and senior. And this was the quote from the Faculty Senate at Penn State. They wrote, "Terms such as junior and senior are parallel to Western male father-son naming conventions." I mean, give me a break. I mean, when you hear the word senior or junior, if I'm just listing the things that come to mind, Western culture naming conventions is pretty far down the list. And I actually wrote down, these are the terms that I think of when I hear senior and junior.
Okay.
Senior citizen, senior class, senior vice president, senior day, senior center, senior moment, senior faculty, senior management, senior discount, senior PGA Tour, junior college, junior varsity team, junior high school, junior miss, junior partner, junior Goodwill Games, shout out to Mighty Ducks 2, junior mint, junior professor, and Disney Junior. Those were all the things I thought of before I got to Western culture naming conventions. This just seems a little ridiculous to me, I'll be honest.
Well, Tyler, that's because you've grown up in a male-driven educational system, first of all, so you don't recognize that you're part of the problem, number one. No, I'm just kidding. I don't even know what I just said, to be honest with you. It doesn't make any sense. I will agree with you in this case. This is the kind of stuff that it's just dumb. I feel like we're living in one of the most dumb times that we've ever lived in on the planet. I mean, we can't even figure out how to talk to each other. We don't even know what words to use anymore.
Yeah.
We need a translator to speak English to somebody else. You know what I mean? It's kind of scary. It's really scary. They're going to have to teach English as a second language to kids that already know English because they're going to have to relearn how to talk to each other.
Yeah, everything has double meanings and everything.
Yeah, I mean, you can take anything and make it, hateful or something, whatever you want to do if you want to look for it that hard. Otherwise, we can just have regular conversations and not walk on eggshells. You want to know why everybody's screaming at each other? It's because everybody's on edge all the time, and then you add stuff like this. I don't think it helps at all. I would not send my kids to Penn State. I wouldn't pay a dime for it. I'd say, yeah, you can go there, but you're paying for it.
Yeah, you better get a scholarship.
I wouldn't send them to a school that prioritizes this because just like a topic we mentioned earlier, I think it's virtue signaling to a certain group of people. And if they wanted to do this, they could just do it without making a big statement about it. Just rewrite it. But when you put it out like this in a release, you're trying to get attention and trying to basically grandstand on an idea and say, oh, look at us, we're doing this. Just do it. That's the other half of it.
Yeah, and they're replacing the phrases underclassmen and upperclass. I mean, how many times do you even use the phrase when you were a freshman in college, were you going to parties like, "Hi guys, I'm an underclassman. How is everyone?" Like, no, who even uses those words? So now they're replacing that with lower division and upper division. And now instead of freshman, you're going to be a first-year student. Or if you're a sophomore, you're a second-year student.
Yeah.
So I just want to picture, imagine we're at a UK basketball game.
Yeah.
We're playing number 1 ranked North Carolina. Mm-hmm. They've just done the starting lineups for North Carolina. The lights dim. The buzz starts going through the crowd. The PA announcer comes on. And you hear him say, at center, a 6'10" first-year student from Chicago, Illinois. Number 23, Anthony Davis. Just take the buzz out of everything.
Captain Buzzkill here. That's all this stuff is. I mean, it's completely ridiculous, and it's not going to stop until people call it out and tell people just to stop it. It'll just keep going. I think I've told you this before. It'll never end. It has no logical conclusion. It will continue to infiltrate everything we do, and at some point we'll just end up humming at each other because we won't be able to use any words.
That's true. We'll just have to use sign language.
Yeah, which is, again, offensive to people that can't see.
Oh, boy. All right.
So that'll be banned as well.
Let's move on before we offend anyone else.
Absolutely. What we got?
All right, Brandon, this is our last topic, and I think we saved the best for last here because for many conspiracy theorists out there, this was a huge week as the story of the U.S. government's acknowledgement of unidentified objects in the sky was shown on 60 Minutes last Sunday. The Pentagon, this coming from the Pentagon, yes, now admits that there is something out there that they don't know what it is. And the U.S. Senate has ordered the Director of National Intelligence and the Secretary of Defense to deliver a report on the sightings before Congress next month. Brandon, did you see this segment on 60 Minutes? And
Tyler, I didn't need to see
what is going on.
I didn't need to see the segment on 60 Minutes because there's been some reports coming out lately from actual government officials, not conspiracy theory shows, right? This has been coming out that there are maneuvers being made by UFOs that cannot be replicated in the Earth's atmosphere. Okay, that's a pretty interesting, bold statement. Mm-hmm. But we've seen this for the last few months. And I don't know what it is. It kind of freaks me out a little bit, and I don't know what to think about it. You know, is this another country? Could it be somebody like a Russia or China? I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know what could possibly happen there. Do I think they are aliens? Now that's the big question, Tyler. Yeah. Are there aliens? I think that we are
This
are
is
not.
why you get paid the big bucks, Brandon, to answer these questions.
I believe that we are not alone in the universe. It's too big. It's way too big. Now, do I think it's these particular ships that fly over around the Atlantic coast and then they fly away? No, I don't know. I'm not really sure. But I'm sure that we're not alone. So I don't know. I don't think there's little tiny green men in these ships. I think that it could be another country that has surpassed our technology, which is pretty scary.
Which may be even scarier than aliens. I don't know which is more scarier, that China or North Korea or somebody has this technology, or that it's something from another universe.
I don't think it's North Korea. North Korea can't get a rocket up more than 10 feet without it exploding. So I don't think it has anything to do with North Korea. But, you know, you think of places like China or Russia that, you know, want to show dominance or power. Yeah, maybe they're just playing games with us and saying, hi, we got this stuff, you better watch out. I'm not surprised that something could surpass the technology that the U.S. has because our country is so bureaucratic that it takes us 20 years to do anything. But
True.
By the time we get through all the red tape, other countries can just be like, go build massive bomb,
Yes.
blow everything up. I want it to go a million miles an hour. Okay. Or I'll chop your head. You know,
Got it.
Yeah, got it.
Got it, boss.
Got it, boss. I'm on it. So I'm not surprised. You know, when I look at things like how long it took to build the 9/11 memorial site. It took 10 years to build a memorial site. That's how long it takes us to get anything done now. So by the time we're sitting over here complaining and trying to bicker with each other countries could be zooming ahead of us, literally, with these UFOs.
Yeah, I will admit to you, I've never bought into the conspiracy theorists with these things. I'm one of those people that always think there's a logical explanation for everything.
Well, let's hear it. What is the logical explanation?
I don't know. I'm not.
I was sitting here waiting for this big proclamation.
I'm not smart enough to give the logical explanation, but somebody smarter than me probably can. But I mean, some of these, if you watch the 60 Minute segments, you know, these people are reporting some of these things that they've been seeing for like 10 years.
Yeah, it's been years.
Which kind of makes you wonder, like, if it is another country, like, what are they doing? What are they waiting on? Like, if they're going to use it, well, you think
surveillance.
Think they would have done it by now?
Surveillance,
right?
Maybe they have some kind of super surveillance system that they can look at the coast of our country and then zoom off, because these things are like going down into the ocean and then popping back up. They're doing things that are really freaky, man.
It could have just been a weather balloon.
Yeah, I feel like this is a much bigger story. Like, I was talking to my wife the other day. I said, and I told her this several months ago. I was like, it feels like it should be a bigger story that there are unidentified objects in the sky that our government has come out and been open about that we cannot even come close to replicating. That feels like a massive story and should be the biggest story on the planet. In my opinion, this is a big deal.
It was terrifying, honestly, watching that 60-minute segment and just hearing these very smart people, very high rankings in our government, in our military, and just they have no answer.
Yeah, the other thing is this could be a covert military operation that we're putting together. It could be a leap in our technology. I'm not sure.
That's true.
We pour a ton of money into the military, so there is that. I just don't know.
Do you think we find out anything in these briefings that they've been ordered to give in front of Congress? Do you think we're getting any information out of that, or is it just going to be more government?
No, I think the Republicans will probably try to bring up Benghazi, and the Democrats will bring up Trump, and we'll never learn anything about the UFOs.
So this was Trump's fault.
Yeah, this was Trump's fault, and Hillary caused Benghazi, and we're done. And that's why I'm worried that other countries are going to pass this.
Yeah, and we wonder why we've regressed so much.
Yeah, for that particular reason. I don't know. Interesting topic, though, Tyler.
All right. Well, if you are still listening to the show after all that, thank you. And if you are interested in advertising with us, if you own a company or have kind of a side gig, as the kids
side
see,
hustle,
get your side hustle on.
Yeah.
Give us a message, because we would love to promote your product on the show or on the website. Let me just say, Brandon is one of the great salesmen of our time.
Is that true?
Brandon could sell a ketchup popsicle to a woman in white gloves.
Oh, thank you.
He could sell an ice cream cone to an Eskimo. I mean, he can do anything. I'm convinced. So we will sell your product. I have confidence in that. We will promote it, and we will increase your numbers.
Well, absolutely. And the thing is, we want it to be a product that fits in with our brand, too. So it's got to be a win-win relationship for both of us. And we appreciate the people that we've heard from so far. But we're still, exploring all options, I guess. This is a new area for us. We've went a year on the show without even asking for sponsorships.
Yes.
All right? So we've been doing this just because we like doing it. But if you want some help in your business from two guys that are relatively smart, heck, we just had a great conversation about aliens, Tyler.
Yeah, right?
I mean, come on. We know what we're talking about. Give us an email. You can reach me, Brandon@lexbuds.com. Brandon@lexbuds.com if you want to email me. And, of course, you can send us a direct message on Twitter. That's at LexBuds on Twitter. You can go to our Facebook page as well, LexBuds and Pick and Roll, and reach us there. So you can do it either on video. We can read it just as a podcast read. We can do that as well. Whatever you want, we're there. If you want us to be an actor in your commercial, we'll do that too. We're pretty easy to work with, Tyler.
We are.
As far as that goes.
If I had a side gig, I would promote it on our show, but unfortunately I do not.
But we are going to promote something really exciting that we've been doing the last couple of weeks, Tyler, and that is our John Calipari player bracket.
Yes.
You put together the top 64 players in the John Calipari era, and even an NIT list, which is insane, by the way. You're absolutely crazy. And we've got 4 different regions based on the 4 number 1 seeds that you've projected, Tyler. We've already went through the first round of the John Wall region.
Yes.
The first round of the DeMarcus Cousins region, and that leads us to the first round of the Anthony Davis region. And we'll see. We may get 2 brackets in the show. Just depends on how this goes.
Let's see if we can knock this whole first round. We've made it through half of the first round.
Let's do it.
And if you would like to follow along with us at home, you can go to lexbuds.com. We have a printable PDF of the tournament bracket, so you can print it out and fill in the winners along with us as we go through.
Absolutely. And if you're watching on the video, you'll be able to see these brackets up behind us right now, too.
Yes,
so
correct.
Check that out. Tyler, it looks like as we go to the Anthony Davis region, this is an interesting one. So we're going to start with the number 1 seed, Anthony Davis, one of the greatest Kentucky players of all time. Correct. He's going to play the winner of the play-in game.
I feel good Anthony Davis is going to win.
Probably. Let's just hurry and get through this one. Johnny Juzang and Devin Askew are in the play-in game. Who wins that one, first of all?
Johnny Juzang.
Yeah, it's not even close. Now, Johnny Juzang against Anthony Davis, now that he's won the playoff game, do you think he's got some momentum coming in?
I mean, he had a great tournament run, but still wasn't as good as Anthony Davis's tournament run.
Okay, so you're going with Davis?
I got Davis.
Okay, moving on down. This is an interesting matchup, Tyler. The number 8 seed Tyler Hero, a sharpshooter, against a defensive stopper, number 9 seed DeAndre Liggins. Who do you think wins that one?
Yeah, this is the unstoppable force against the immovable object right here. Tyler Hero's offense against Liggins' defense.
Yeah, what do you think happens there?
Liggins did hit some big. He had a big shot the North Carolina game that got us to the Final Four. Tyler Hero also hit one of the biggest shots in recent memory with the three-pointer against Houston to get us to the Elite Eight. So both guys have had some big moments, but I'm always a guy. When I'm filling out my actual tournament bracket, I go with the team that I think can put the ball in the basket, because at the end of the game, you got to score buckets to win. So I'm going with the guy who is actually a bucket, and that is Tyler Hero.
You're going with Tyler Hero.
Going with the bucket.
That is an interesting call, and I think I was worried about Tyler Hero when he got to the NBA because I thought he just wouldn't translate. But he's shown that he can score buckets against even some of the best defenders in the NBA, and I think just overall, if you score, you win. I'm like you, Tyler. I think Liggins puts up a heck of a fight, but he's not a good scorer. He's not a great shooter, and at the end of the day, you got to put the ball in the hoop. So I'm going to go Tyler Hero as well.
Okay, Hero moves on.
Hero, I could be your hero.
Thank you, Enrique.
You're welcome. Tyler, next, Derek Willis, the 12 seed against Nick Richards, the 5 seed. Who you got?
Love Derek Willis. If Nick Richards had left for the pros or just left the program after his sophomore year, I would probably go Derek Willis. But Nick Richards, of course, had the huge breakout junior year. He was the SEC Player of the Year candidate, first team All-SEC. Tremendous shot blocker, one of the best shot blockers we've had in the Cal era. So, based upon that junior year, got to go junior year Nick Richards.
You're going junior year Nick Richards. That's an interesting choice because the first part of me says, if you're looking at guys that put the ball in the bucket, Derek Willis does that. I mean, he can score in a multitude of different ways and can make some shots outside. He's a very versatile player, but again, junior Nick Richards is hard to top in this case. If it was sophomore or freshman Nick Richards, I think I'd take Derek Willis, but Nick Richards really stepped it up his junior year. Contributed a lot to the team, and I'm going to go Nick Richards.
Okay.
So I'm with you on that. We're in agreement. Now, to finish out the top half of this region, Tyler, we've got the number 4 seed Terrence Jones and the number 13 seed Dante Allen. I love Dante Allen. I'm sure he's a super swell guy. But Terrence Jones, I think, is a criminally underrated player from Calipari. I mean, he could do everything. Agreed. And he came back for a second year, for Pete's sake.
Yeah.
Remember when that used to happen?
One of the few guys who did come back.
So, again, I love Dante Allen, and maybe as his career progresses, he'll get even better. But at this point, I got to take Terrence Jones. This is a no-brainer.
I agree. Terrence Jones moves on.
All right. So in the top half of that bracket, Tyler, we've got Anthony Davis playing Tyler Hero in the second round and Nick Richards versus Terrence Jones in the second round.
Interesting matchup there.
This is going to be really interesting. I'm curious to see where this goes. In the bottom half of the Anthony Davis region, Tyler, we've got the number 3 seed Jamal Murray going up against the number 14 seed Jacob Toppin.
Oh, this is an easy one. Jamal Murray.
Let's move on.
Yep.
This is an interesting matchup. So the winner of that is going to play the winner of our next matchup, number 6 seed Shai Gilgeous-Alexander versus the 11 seed Trey Lyles. Two very different players, different size. Mm-hmm. What do you think? What do you think would happen here? Again, just looking at their career at Kentucky, not looking at their pro career. We want to look at what they did here. Who are you going with?
By the end of his freshman year, Shai, he was unstoppable. He just silky smooth. You could not stop him from getting to the rim. And he got to the rim as good as, I think, just about any player that we have had. And I think about Trey Lyles. What did Trey Lyles do that was consistently good?
He started on the greatest team that Calipari's ever had.
Yeah, because, he started after Alex Poitras got hurt, right?
Yes, he did.
So, he was the only guy we had at that position.
I was
solid guy, but Shai just was so good at getting to the rim.
Yeah,
I gotta go Shai.
I'm gonna go with Shai on that one too. I was very underwhelmed by Trey Lyles. I just never felt like he did anything great. He was just a dude that happened to be tall.
Yeah,
but beyond that, nothing great. So as we start to wrap up the Anthony Davis bracket, Tyler, we've got Bam Adebayo, the number 7 seed, versus the number 10 seed Ashton Hagans.
I think Bam abuses Ashton Hagans and just pushes him around like a little girl. I got Bam Adebayo easy.
You do not like
Hagans.
Ashton Hagans.
No, I do not.
Okay,
like
Tyler, I will
He's
second
very
that.
overrated.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Ashton Hagans at all. I'm going to go Bam Adebayo, and I think it's a no-brainer. This last matchup, Tyler, in the bottom half of the Anthony Davis bracket, we've got the number 2 seed Brandon Knight and the number 15 seed Terrence Clark. Again, just looking at what they've done at Kentucky. Brandon Knight's been in the NBA for a while, and it's kind of been underwhelming, I think. But in this case, I think Brandon Knight is very undervalued as a Kentucky player. He did a lot.
He had some big shots.
A lot of big shots, and he grew quite a bit over his year at Kentucky. Now, obviously, we know the unfortunate passing of Terrence Clark, so this one's a little tough to say, he would.
Right.
But, I mean, Brandon Knight is just an underrated player, and Terrence Clark didn't necessarily have the year that he had hoped for, while he was at Kentucky.
Yeah, just being objective, I think you can't make an argument for Knight not to move on here.
Yeah, so let's look at these second-round matchups to close out the Anthony Davis bracket. In the second round, Tyler, we're going to have Jamal Murray versus Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, which should be a very interesting matchup. And Bam Adebayo versus Brandon Knight.
Ooh, another good one.
I know. These second-round matchups, man, I am so jacked up about it.
These are going to be intense discussions.
Absolutely. Now, let's go ahead and wrap it up, Tyler, with the Tyler Ulis bracket. Again, Tyler Ulis, the number 1 seed, one of the best point guards we've ever had. Did a ton of great things. Tyler Ulis, in the first matchup here, is going to play the winner of the play-in game between Isaac Humphries and Wenyen Gabriel. First of all, who wins that play-in game, Isaac Humphries or Wenyen Gabriel?
I mean, that's a tough one. I'll go Wenyen, but I could see it's a toss up. Really, I could see either one.
See, I would have picked Isaac Humphries. I mean, he's taller. He could really shoot well. He did a lot of things well. He could spike the basketball and get a technical.
Get technicals, yes.
Yeah, so
he was very good at that.
Very good at that, and a very good singer. So at the end of the day, I don't think it matters because Tyler Ulis wins. So I've got Tyler Ulis going in the second round.
Ulis is dribbling circles around either one of them.
Now this one is an interesting matchup and one that I'm interested to hear about, Tyler. The number 8 seed Marcus Teague, national title winning Marcus Teague, playing the number 9 seed James Young.
I think this may be one of the best matchups of the first round.
Yes,
honestly,
absolutely.
Because Marcus Teague really struggled at the start of his season here at Kentucky. I mean, Calipari even went as far as to try out Deron Lamb at point guard at one point because Teague was just not cutting it. But come to the national championship game, dude just balled out in the title game.
Yeah.
James Young, you pretty much knew from game one what you're getting a good 3-point shooter. He's going to shoot the ball a lot, but he's going to score a lot of points every game. I think he was, one of the 1 or 2 top leading scorers on that team. He's going to give you a lot of points. Not a very good passer.
Not a lot of passing skills there.
No, he was kind of like a black hole. Once the ball came to him, it never came back out.
Yep, fair. So what do you think? I mean, who are you going with here? This is a pretty tight matchup.
It is. I'm gonna go because of the consistency from the beginning of the season to end of season, and also his huge shot that he hit against Wichita State. I'm gonna go James Young over Marcus Teague.
Wow, very interesting, Tyler. I completely understand your argument, and while I love that shot from James Young and the dunk that he had in the title game, let's not forget that. One of the best dunks in Kentucky history. Absolutely threw it down.
I mean, those are 2 of the biggest plays of the last 10 years right there.
It's huge, but you know what the biggest play was? Winning the national title. And Marcus Teague did that. He grew a ton. I remember when he first started, I thought this is not going to work. This guy is not John Wall, and this guy is not Brandon Knight. Yep. He was the 3rd point guard in the Calipari run. And it was very clear that he was on a level below them. But by the end, he grew into the role and actually hit some big shots in the tournament.
He was huge.
Yeah, he absolutely grew up a lot in that. So I'm actually going to go Marcus Teague on this one.
Okay.
So
tiebreaker.
We've got a tiebreaker. I get your argument for James Young, but I just like Marcus Teague a little bit more in this case.
Yeah, now if you tuned in last week, since we mentioned the tiebreakers, we had 2 tiebreakers last week that went to vote on Twitter and Facebook. That was Kevin Knox versus Julius Mays and Darius Miller versus Keldon Johnson. Brandon, you were correct on Darius Miller, absolutely destroying Keldon Johnson in the vote.
Thank you very much.
And Kevin Knox, about, maybe 60-70% of the vote over Mays. So Knox and Miller both moved on in those tiebreakers.
No, that's good. I'm glad you brought that up because we are going to ask the audience to help break this Marcus Teague and James Young tiebreaker. So we'll post this on Facebook. We may put it on Twitter as well. So make sure you follow us on social media. Help us break the tie because we need the help. We need a third man, right? Or a third woman.
Yes,
absolutely. So we need some help. So let us know your thoughts on that. So moving on down the bracket, Tyler, we have the number 5 seed Andrew Harrison against the number 12 seed Keon Brooks. I think this is a very interesting 12-5 matchup.
I don't think it's Andrew Harrison all day. I don't think it's close.
Okay. Well, Tyler,
I know you were trying to make it interesting for the show, but
you don't think Keon Brooks would put up a fight?
Not a chance.
Why? Why?
What's Keon Brooks going to do against Andrew Harrison?
Well, I mean, he's a good rebounder. He can shoot. Is a good defender. You don't think that would be helpful against Andrew Harrison?
Yeah.
Fine, I'll just go Andrew Harrison. Jeez Louise. Moving on. Emmanuel Quickly, the number 4 seed versus the number 13 seed Scalabicier.
I'm just going to go ahead and fill this in here. Yep. I know where this one's going.
So in the second round, just to cover the first half of the bracket, we've got Tyler Eulis playing the winner of the tiebreaker between Marcus Teague and James Young, which I think could be a very intriguing matchup. And you also have Andrew Harrison against Emmanuel Quickly.
2 point guards going at it.
Man, that is intense. That is a great second round battle. I'm interested to see where that one goes. Now, to finish out the entire first round, Tyler, we have come to this point. We've got our last few matchups here.
Yes, ready? I'm ready to finish this out.
All right, number 3 seed Deron Lamb versus number 14 seed Marcus Lee.
Eat D-Lamb.
D-Lamb
all day.
Yeah, all day and all night. Number 6 seed Eric Bledsoe versus number 11 seed Olivier Sarr.
I mean, this is we have one of the softest players.
This is the Duke bracket here, where Duke gets matched up with Olivier Sarr or something.
Eric Bledsoe, even though he's about a foot shorter than Olivier Sarr, I think just pushes him around and does whatever he wants.
Yeah, whenever Calipari, the first few games of Bledsoe's career, somebody tried to mess with him, and Cal said, "Wrong guy, wrong guy.
Yeah,
he will kill you."
Olivier does not want any of Eric Bledsoe.
No, he does not. Tyler, a couple more matchups here. This one is interesting to me. The number 7 seed Alex Poitras against the number 10 seed Kyle Wilcher.
Oh, this is a good one.
This is a good one. I'm interested to see where this one goes.
I'm going to let you go first.
Yeah, now on this one, for me, I think Alex Poitras was very underwhelming. His patented move was to dribble out of bounds. Great move. I mean, he did it very quickly.
Yeah, and if that wasn't going for him, he would travel. That was his second move.
Those were his patented moves, and he was really good at them. I will say that. And Kyle Wilcher could put the ball in the hole, man.
Could not guard a parked car.
Couldn't guard a parked car. However, I've got to go Alex Poitras because I feel like if he would not have gotten hurt, we win the 2015 national title. And I don't think there's any debate about it. He had a lot of intangibles on the defensive side and was a great teammate. So if I'm looking at this holistically, even though he was very underwhelming on the offensive side, I've got to go with him for his defense and his teamwork and the fact that he could have won us a national title alone if he would not have got hurt. So I'm going Alex Poitras.
Yeah, I could go either way on this one. If I'm making the argument for Wilcher, he was, I think, the sixth man of the year when he was at Kentucky. Mm-hmm. I don't even think he started his second year on the NIT team. I don't even think he started on that team.
He played a lot.
Yeah, but was a consistently great three-point shooter. I mean, one of the best three-point shooters that we've had. Mm-hmm. I don't think that Cal ever quite figured out how to use him to get the best out of him. So when he went to Gonzaga, he just blew up.
Oh, yeah.
He was averaging like 20 points a game. Mm-hmm. But I think, like you said, with Poitras, I was just so underwhelming and just so frustrating at times because you just saw the talent with him, and we just feel like we never got the most out of him. He was just really hard for me to watch sometimes. I love Kyle Wilcher. Feel like he always was consistent. He knocked down some big shots in 2012 on the tournament run. Gave us some depth on the bench, so I'm going Kyle Wilcher.
Okay. So we've got our second tie. I didn't know where you'd go with that one, but I see your argument. I get it, but Kyle Wilcher couldn't guard, my mom.
Well,
basically,
But when you're hitting threes on the other end, you don't have to.
Oh, that's true. Okay, that's a good point. All right, so we'll put that one up for voted. So we've got two tiebreakers. So we'll have to put these up on social media. Make sure you check that out. And the winner of that game, Tyler, will play the winner of our final game in the first round. This is number 2 seed Willie Cauley-Stein against the number 15 seed Darnell Dodson. When you laugh when you say the matchup, you know who's winning, right?
Well, I was laughing at, of all the first round matchups, do you think there would be two more interesting people to hang out with than Willie Cauley-Stein and Darnell? I would just like to sit in a room be a fly on the wall with Willie Cauley-Stein and Darnell Dotson, and just see where the conversation went between those two.
Yeah, something tells me if you stayed in Darnell Dodson's room, you'd get a contact high. So make sure you have an open window around.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I'm going Willie Cauley-Stein.
Yeah,
okay?
WCS, easy.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Tyler, in the second round of the Tyler Eulis bracket, we'll have Tyler Eulis playing the winner of the tiebreaker between Marcus Teague and James Young. And then we'll also have Andrew Harrison against Emmanuel Quickly. Very exciting matchup. And then in the second round on the bottom half, we'll have Deron Lamb against Eric Bledsoe, which is going to be a very good matchup. And then we'll have the winner of the tiebreaker between Kyle Wilcher and Alex Poitras playing Willie Cauley-Stein. I don't know. I mean, this is interesting stuff. We're really starting to get into the meat of this. When I look at some of the second-round matchups, not just in the region which we just covered, but in the other ones, things are going to get interesting very, very quickly.
Yeah, I think this first round, we've had a few matchups that were tough to call, but for the most part, we had easy decisions on these, I think. But the second round is going to be much more intense. Make sure you're following us. I feel like we're going to have a lot of tiebreakers from here on out.
Yeah, it's going to be rough. It's going to be rough, but I think overall this bracket idea, again, is great. It gives us a chance to relive the last 10 years, in UK basketball in a fun way. Calipari's had a lot of talent, and it's fun to pit these guys up against each other. I don't know. I enjoyed it.
Totally, me too. I love bracket. You know me, I love brackets. We could put anything on a bracket and talk about it, and I'll be happy.
I am too, man. I get really excited. When you said bracket, I was like, sweet, what is it? Didn't even know what it was. You're
Say
like,
no more.
I've got a bracket. Oh, great. Sign me up, man. I'm ready.
Awesome.
But fun show, Tyler. I enjoyed that. We covered the Calipari bracket. We talked about kids eating THC brownies, which is an interesting story. Tattoo artists, UFOs, government being crazy as usual, and then some sports stories. I feel like it was a very all-inclusive show.
It was. Unlike Penn State, which is not so inclusive of.
Is it?
Well, maybe it is now.
I don't know.
Maybe everyone else is not inclusive.
I don't even know how to talk to you, Tyler. Maybe what would you do if we had to replace all of our pronouns during the show? Like, what if we had a jar? You know, some people have a swear jar. What if you have a pronoun jar? We put it in the center, and every time we say he or she or something, we have to put something in the jar. How quick does it fill up?
Or if we have to go through this John Calipari tournament bracket and can't use the word freshman or sophomore.
Oh, my gosh. We'd have to have a few jars. I think that would be a total disaster for us.
That'd be hard. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be interesting. But very fun show. As always, follow us on Twitter at LexBuds. We're always posting great content there. And on Facebook, LexBuds and Pick and Roll. You can also watch the full video of the show on YouTube. Just type in the word LexBuds on YouTube, and you will find us. We appreciate your support there as well. And you can always check out our website, www.lexbuds.com.
HTTP.
Yes.
Yes.
/
Yes.
Something like that.
All that.
But fun show, Tyler. I'm sure we'll have even more to cover for next week. We always do. We always manage to fill up the show. And we look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Stay classy, Kentucky.